Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and I am your guide for everything Chinese medicine. And I set it all up so us Westerners can figure it out. Now, I'm sitting on the floor right now, and this is the bookshelf that is behind me in my office when I do my videos for you here, when I'm not at home in my home office. Anyway, you'll figure it out. So, this is kind of the nit and gritty of my library. I got more at home, but I kind of want to leave the lower shelf available just in case I need to, okay? So let's take a look here. Now you've got right here in the middle is Gray's Anatomy. Not the show, it's an actual book. It's very old. It is kind of the gold standard in Western medicine for the way things work, and yes, it is a honker. So, going right next to it, we've got a thing called the Atlas of Human Anatomy. It's by a guy named Netter. And if you want some really cool pictures of what you look like on the inside, I recommend this book. Okay, so here we have spinal column. Okay, and yes, those are my notes. Go ahead and bring that in for you. There you go. Okay, highly, highly recommend this book. You can get it Barnes & Noble or Amazon. It is full color, and the dude that did this, he's a huge anatomy nerd. Bigger anatomy nerd than I am, obviously, because, well, he did pictures. So, let me see if I can find him here. Let's see what this dude looks like. And yes, they are hand-drawn. Okay. And it's dedicated to his dear wife, Vera. How sweet. Okay. And he is in here somewhere. There he is. Ah. Ta-da. Yeah, that is Mr. Netter right there. And you see on the desk, those are actually the proto slides for what's in here. If you're a huge anatomy nerd, recommend this book. It was also required reading for me in grad school. All right. Now, goodness. That is heavy. All right. So now we come over here, and we got Foundations of Chinese Medicine by Machiocha. This is actually a nationally required book and a state required book here in the U.S. I'm not sure about EU or anywhere else. Really good book. Mostly it is about disease and point selection and herbal selection, okay? It's how we kind of look at the body, all right? A little bit of a Western perspective ever so slightly, all right? Now, oh my goodness, it's heavy. This one is Feather Light. This is Chinese acupuncture and moxibustion. This is actually published in China. And if you can feel it, it's not that big of a deal. We call it CAM. This is required reading for anyone studying Chinese medicine in the United States, in any school. Okay? And here is a section, kind of what it looks like when we're talking about points. Okay? Specifically, this is small intestine. Links with the heart in Chinese medicine. Okay. We've got other stuff in here. There's some diagrams of what the channels look like in a few areas. Yes, they decided to use a Chinese guy. I hope you're not offended by that. And if you are, I really don't care. Okay. Now, they do have other stuff in here. It's not just about points. It's also about why we are doing certain things with them. They have stuff in here like how to insert the needle, what the needle should be made out of, how it should look, and why you should not needle perpendicular in certain areas, like, oh, the chest, because, you know, you could kill them. Something about breaking it through a lung. Crazy. Okay? Bit of a dry read, but learned a lot from this book. Okay. Now, let's talk about some herbs. Okay, this is Materia Medica, And it also is referred to as Bensky, because that's the first name. Okay, this thing is heavy. This is a few kilo. Okay, it is not light, and I've walked 2 miles on foot with this on my back. Holy crap, did my shoulders hurt. Okay, this is all of my single herbs. Okay, in the Chinese pharmacopoeia, there are roughly 6,000 of them. Roughly 10% are in this. Okay, I was responsible for knowing 400 of them, some odd, to graduate from school, and then to get my license, I only had to be concerned with roughly 150. Okay, those are single herbs, indications, uses, and contraindications, etc. And also possible interactions. A lot of the interactions that we learned are called the 16 incompatibilities. They fight with herbs that we don't even use. We just learn them to kind of reasons. Okay. There are a few that you don't want to take together. Okay. And there's also a few very common over-the-counter pharmaceutical drugs that you should not take with certain herbs, such as I believe it's called, I can't remember the name of it. I want to say it's Wellbutrin. I could be wrong. It's a anti-diabetes med that is not compatible with garlic. It does some horrendous things to you. Okay? And so on and so forth. All of that is found in this. Okay? So, back on the shelf you go. And while we're on the subject of herbs, this is one of my favorite books. If you're a martial arts guy, I have talked about this before. I highly recommend getting this. It's called A Tooth from the Tiger's Mouth. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. And tells you how to do all kinds of things. It's even got a section in here, I just flipped to it randomly, about food. Okay? And when to eat certain things and when not to eat certain things. Okay? You've got a bunch of heat in your body, probably stay away from the beef and the pepper, just a thought. Okay? Maybe go more fish. Don't be crazy. It explains how to exercise, it explains how to stretch, how to take care of your body, and it also has herbal formulas on what to do if you break it as you're training. Okay? It's where I got my dit.jow recipe, and I modified it for some more specific things that happen with me and most of the people that I treat. Okay? Moving on. Now here, this is called Strategies and Formulas. This is called Bensky Formulas. If you notice, this is a bit thinner than the single. This is this with the herbs put together into formulations. Okay? Now, the reason why we have stuff like this is because humans are basically all the same, and for the most part, the things that bring us down are basically all exactly the same. So I'm pretty sure this will work. Okay? But on occasion, you could have had something before you got the other something that you're seeking treatment for, so we have to take that into account. Okay? And this explains that. Okay? So let's find a good one that I've got here. All right. This one is called Gegun Huang Qin Huang Lian Tong. It's named for the three main herbs. Wow, inventive. Okay. Now this is indicated for fever, sweating, thirst, dysenteric diarrhea. That's fun. If you want to know what dysentery is, type that into Google. I'm not going to explain it to you right now. And it's characterized by especially foul-smelling tools with a burning sensation around something. I'm not going to say it. with irritability and heat in the chest and epigastrum. That's the top part of the belly right before you get to the rib cage. Okay. Possible wheezing, red tongue with a yellow coating, and a rapid pulse. Okay. Now I'm willing to bet that a bunch of you are going, "Oh my God, I have that." No, you don't. No, you'd be in the hospital if you had this. Okay. So that's what the main formula is for. Now it is composed of Gagun, which is kudzu root, Huangqin, which is scutellaria root, Huanglian, which is coptitis root, and Zhegan Sao, which is honey-fried licorice root. Okay? This is then cooked for about 30 minutes at a hard boil, and you take the pulp out, drink the juice, and you're good to go. Now when you do powder, what they do is they do the exact same thing, only they desiccate the juice out, turn it into a powder, and then you just take that internally. Works just fine. That's usually what I use. Okay. I don't like to prescribe raw herbs to my patients because the things tend to go sideways pretty fast. It's just easier to do powder. Okay. Now, let's say that you have everything that this thing treats, but you have something extra. So let's say that you have a little bit more abdominal pain in with all this. So we're going to add in some muxiang and some baishao. Baishao, by the way, is the root of white peony flowers. Okay. Now, if you have a rather odd gathering sensation in your bum, we're going to add in muxiang and bingliang. Bingliang. Excuse me. That is acacia, betel nuts. Okay. If you've got high fever and a little bit more blood coming out of you than we would like to see, we're going to add in some baiwut, some baitao wong, and some chin pea. Okay. And if you've got a little bit more exterior symptoms, like you're itching a little bit, you've got some really odd lesions on your skin, we're going to add in chrysanthemum flowers, otherwise known as juhua. Okay? And if you've got some really intense wheezing, then we're going to add in some sangbai pea, which is mistletoe or magnolia. I forget. Bark. Okay? A lot of stuff can be added into this depending on what stage of the disease you're in and different severities. Okay? The same basic stuff still applies, but you've got something extra on top of it. And again, since humans are all basically the same, we kind of know what's going to work. So we add that in. Okay? Now, depending on availability, that might change. Okay? I love this book. And yes, it is very, very heavy. It's about half as bad as the blue one, but still. Okay? All right, in we go. Now we've got a few others here. We've got anatomical acupuncture. This is an orthopedic one. Mix that with clinical orthopedic examination. Fantastic for, hey, I got pain. I actually had a patient earlier that I had to crack the spine on these with. Helped out a lot. They had reduced range of motion. I got it to improve by about 10%. Not too shabby. Okay? And not exactly my forte, but this is obstetrics and gynecology from a Chinese medical perspective. Also by Ma Chiocha. I'm not so good at it. That's why I have the book around just in case. Okay? So if I'm having some issues, I just crack this little guy open. And it's got a bunch of formulas, a bunch of treatment protocols, telling exactly kind of what's going on. And it explains a great deal about how to take care of a woman's problems. Okay? Women are people too, boys. Remember that, or I'll find you. You be nice. Okay? All right. So, now we get into some really neat stuff. This is secondary vessels of acupuncture. What this is all about is how to work with a person who is having some really strange and idiopathic symptoms. Okay? This could be like phobias. This could be like pain that no matter what they do, they never get better. It never improves. Okay? It is because of these guys. Okay? That is called the secondary vessel. It's an internal pathway for the main bit. Okay? The channels that you see on the little maps, all there, yada, 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 that's only one part of the system. Okay? Best to think of this as how can the body function if that's all it is. There's nothing to unify anything. There's no reason why those interact with the organs. That explains how, and it also explains how to treat with it. I've got a couple of others. I've got red dragonflies in Compass of Health. These are fantastic for dietary-related diseases and also mental conditions and how to treat those. Oriental medicine, modern interpretation. Very similar to just the way I think, and I highly recommend it. But I'm starting to run low on time, so if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, possibly even a share. And you can even visit my website at vigintmed.com. That stands for Vigorelli, Integrated Medicine.com. And before I go, I do want to say that while I am flattered by people contacting me from outside of the United States for herbal consultations, there does run into a bit of a legal issue and also an ethical issue with me treating you when I can't see you. Okay? It can get dangerous, and I don't want to hurt you accidentally. Okay? So, I'll be back with something else, guys. You take care until then. All right? Stay healthy. Bye-bye.